Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about a not so pleasant subject. It's called suicide. I got a couple of emails over the last few weeks asking me what my perception was of the other side in regards to suicide. And this is just my understanding. First of all, you have to understand what suicide is. Suicide is not just taking one's own life. It's deliberately taking one's own life. You know, in the Bible, they talk about deliberately taking your own life. But we forget that word deliberately. And what that means is, I don't know how else to say it, but you're thumbing your nose at God and saying, I know better than you, and I'm leaving here. Or you don't believe in something higher than you, and you go, I'm out of here. I'm done with this. I don't want to be here anymore. Because you don't believe you're going anywhere else. That's rare. That is very rare. You know, we have what we term it as accidental suicide. Really, it's an accident. The person overdosed, or the person shot themselves, you know, not trying to shoot themselves, cleaning the gun, or whatever. Or two kids horsing around, or one kid not knowing the gun is loaded. So you have to delineate that. You have to understand that what we accept suicide as is not necessarily what God intended you to realize suicide was. You know, God wanted you to kind of follow His rules. Like He gave you the 10 Commandments. It's kind of like, pay attention, people. These are the things you need to follow to be good people. And you won't ever have those thoughts of suicide or of wanting to go home. And you know, when people do take their own life, it's usually because they're not in the right mental state. You know, it's hard to press this upon people. You know, when someone takes their life, they're usually not thinking clearly, are they? They're not. They're trying to make the pain go away. And I have to tell you, doesn't matter what you would do. If they are in so much pain, you cannot stop them. You know, there are people, and we all know of them, there are people who have tried several times. And those are signs. Those are warning signs. Those are warning signs that person needs help. And if you're around that person and you see those signs, yeah, you need to help them. You need to step up to the plate and not ignore this. You know, this is a lesson for you. It's how good of a person are you going to be? But at the same time, if they are so depressed that they are hiding it, that you don't know until after the fact, this is pretty serious. They don't have any conscious thought about being here. They don't have any connection to themselves as individuals, to this world. They're only seeing the badness in the world. They're only seeing the horrible part of it and the negative part of it, and they're allowing this to influence their choice, because hello, they still have free will, their choice of whether to be here or not. But what happens when someone chooses to take bottles, slit their wrists, do something, you know, walk off a ledge, walk into the ocean, whatever it is they choose to do, you have to understand they're not thinking clearly. They're not in their sane consciousness. They are way outside of it. The negative influences, the lower level entities are like, okay, come on, you know, this is what we did, come on, join us. And that's not necessarily where that person needs to be. However, in the same respect, if you know of someone who has taken their life, don't beat yourself up because you should have, could have, would have done something differently. Especially if that person has tried before in private. You know, you find out about it later. That means they don't want you to know. They don't want to be saved. They don't want your help. Learn from the experience. Learn, well, what might I have been able to do? Not what should I have done. What might I have been able to do, so that if this ever presents itself in my life again, I'll see the signs. I know lots of people, I have lots of clients who beat themselves up because they think they could have stopped their mother, brother, sister, father from committing suicide. And I have to tell you, 9 times out of 10, you wouldn't have stopped them. They would have found a way, because they are in such a mental state of not caring. They are so disconnected from their soul. Their soul is over here. They're connected to their body, and they want the pain in their body to go away. And they'll do anything to make it happen. Now, as to my perception of what happens when people cross over and they've committed suicide, that's very different. My perception of the other side is when you cross over, there is this heaven, if you want to call it, this existence. I call it the in-between. It's actually the in-between, between here and being on the other side with God, with everyone else who's been through the in-between. And the in-between it helps us adjust to the other side. I call it heaven because it's whatever you need to see when you cross over. It's whatever will help you grow as a soul and an individual to be a better soul in the future. For those who died by taking their own life, accident or otherwise, yeah, they go to this kind of dark place because they have to work on it. They have to figure this out. They have to figure out, why did I do that? What happened? And when you work through your issues, you get through this dark place and into the light of heaven. So it's kind of side by side instead of one above the other. And as you work through that, there are souls over there willing and waiting to help you. Just like when children cross over, there are groups of souls just waiting to help those children adjust. Because God doesn't want you in that in-between. He doesn't want you stuck. He wants you free. He wants you to be a joyous being. He wants you to be happy. And, hello, He wants you to be with Him. Not stuck in some in-between place. So there are lots of souls there to help you work through it. And this in-between dark place happens to people who are killed in auto accidents, when they go immediately and they're kind of confused and they have that pull to want to be back to earth, but they know they need to go to God. That's in between. So the experience can be the same. Just the means in which we get there is different. So the next time you look at I really hate this when people say, oh, so-and-so committed suicide. Isn't that sad? Hello? What happened? What happened to this person's life that he got to that point? Because it's a long road to get to suicide. So yes, maybe some people need to have wake-up calls. You should have paid attention. You saw the signs. You should have done something. Why did this person get to this point? And look back, see the warning signs, and then help people in the future. You're supposed to learn from your experiences, not just suck them in and make them feel, like a horrible person, or just push them away and say, oh, well, that's his life. No, it's your life too. Everyone is in our life for a reason. Whether it's karma, whether we agreed to be in each other's life, there's a reason. We're there to help each other. And we can help each other whether we live next door to each other, or live in the same house as each other, or live 1,500 miles away from each other. I have family members who live all over the world. I pray for them every day. Doesn't mean I have to be their best friend. But then again, there are people that I'm really, really close to. And I pray for a little more often, maybe, because I know what they're going through. I know their heartache. I know their struggle. And that's another point. Be closer to your friends and family. Exist in their life. Don't let someone's life get to the point where they